A traditional woman shouldn't be a woman who just sits at home doing nothing. No,
Well, but
that's
raising
something
kids
else.
is not doing nothing.
So this is love.
Alright, I saw this video like most people several days ago, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it since. This video really struck a chord with me because it's what happened to me. I am 27. I got divorced at 26 after I had done the trad wife thing. I got married at 19. I had 3 babies, and I was a stay-at-home mom. I dropped out of college. I didn't have a job. So at 20, we separated when I was 25. So at 25 years old, I had nothing. I didn't have an education. I didn't have a work history. Because of those 2 things, when we went to court over custody of our kids, he was able to point to those. He asked me for the divorce. He fought for custody of the kids. Given I had stayed home and taken care of these kids as my full-time situation for 6 years. And he was able to say, you know, she doesn't have a job. She doesn't have an education. She lives with her mom and dad. She can't take care of these kids, and he got primary custody of our kids. And so every video that I see now of trad wives, and people idealizing this lifestyle, it makes my heart break. It like hits a chord with me because I did everything right. I did all the things you were supposed to do. Stay home and raise your babies and do all of that. And in the end, I got left out on my ass with nothing. I did not get my kids. I did not have a job. It was very difficult for me to get a job when you don't have a work history or an education. It's very hard to get a job that can pay your bills when you do that. And so when I first saw this video, I literally have not been able to stop thinking about it because this is real life. This can happen to you. You know, thinking, oh, he's my husband, whatever, may not protect you in the long run. Like, when you have nothing. So this is like a PSA to women that like that can happen to you. I know there's a lot of misconceptions out in the world that like, oh, moms always get custody, judges default to moms. Well, the fact of the matter is, like, if you have just been a mom this whole time and he fights for those kids, he puts up a fight, he has everything in his favor because he has the financial means to raise children. And you don't. When he puts you out, like what happened to me. So just think about that, ladies. Think about the reality of that because it's literally heartbreaking and it's so hard to build your life up after that.
Trad wives has become a trend. Like most women who want to get married are thinking of the trad wives, and there is like so many popular trad wives such as Nara Smith. You know about Nara Smith? I mean, everyone knows. Who doesn't know Nara Smith? She cooks every day online and does like trad wives as an influencer, and she's got so many views on her videos. I mean, million views. And most of the people who want to get married nowadays are like, oh, I want to be a trad wife. I want to sit home. I want to take care of the kids. I want to just be my husband's wife, you know. But it looks like fairy tale, but in reality, to be a trad wife is not easy. Like, is it even real to be a trad wife?
Yeah, I mean, I think this video is so sad. And that's definitely, I think, the reality of a lot of women. I definitely don't think like trad wives are, I think it's a case-to-case basis, but I think that moms, like being a mom in this society is not seen as a respectable job or as a job, as a career, or so it's like, well, you're just a mom. And I think as long as society sees being a mom in that way, it's going to be really hard for like a woman to be protected in that situation. So I've seen a couple of women be trad wives and be happy for years and years and years, like friends of my family. But the majority of the examples that I have gone like in a similar situation to this one, just growing up and seeing like what it was like. What I think is that if you really want to be a trad wife, it really does depend on the partner that you have and who they are and how protected you make yourself before going into that agreement. I think it just should never be like an assumption. I think it should be a pre-made agreement. If I'm going to be a trad wife, what security do I get for taking 10 years off a career and that gap in my resume, and I'm not going to build a career, I'm essentially going to raise your kids. Well, how can I know for sure that if anything happens, I'm going to be protected? And does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. I think those are my initial thoughts.
Yeah, and I think trad wives is more, like you mentioned, is not remunerated. It's not paid for. It's unpaid work. Like to be a housewife and a trad wife is almost the same thing. Like staying at home, doing all the household chores, taking care of the kids and doing all that. And you also have to take care of your man, the husband. And the man is the only one who goes out to do like paid work. He goes to the public sphere and he he goes to the public sphere, he works, he gets paid, but you don't get paid. Then you are living off from what he brings from his salary or from his money. So at the end of the day, if anything happens, the law doesn't care. The law doesn't have feelings because there is no provision for housewives or trad wives. So in this case, like in this video, you can see that she sacrificed everything to be a trad wife, but at the end of the day, she doesn't, when it comes to the law, she doesn't even stand the chance to have custody of her kids.
I don't think so. I think the whole trad wife thing has been misunderstood right here. I think you're only seeing it in one side because at the end of the day, if you think at it critically, in every sense, the woman is always favored, whether they are trad wives or they're having a career, it always favors the woman. First, nowadays, the way trad wife is being construed is like, oh, the woman has to stay at home and do nothing. But even in those days when they used to be like, even in the Western world, where women never used to work traditionally, they still did a lot of things. Most of them were seamstress. They sold like clothes for neighbors and stuff like that and made some money. But because that was not like traditional work in any sense, people didn't see it like, oh, they went out there to work. But they did a lot of things. Maybe like in some African countries,
African perspective.
most of the wives, they go to the farms and stuff like that.
They do small, like
and they do
petty trading.
And they do businesses. That is also work.
Okay,
but
yeah.
Traditionally, they'll say, she's not going to work to get paid, but she's doing some things to contribute to the household and even more. And that was the original definition of, if you're talking about a traditional woman. A traditional woman shouldn't be a woman who just sits at home doing nothing. No,
Well, but raising kids is not doing nothing.